You were right, Doctor. There are no fingerprints anywhere.
What's all this?
Hey, don't touch anything.
You better put some gloves on. Our friend, Mr. X, left this suit at the oil refinery.
You mean you were that close to him and you didn't catch him?
I'm afraid so. That's up to the police now. Hand me those shears. I want to cut up this material to work with it. Say, you better have those sharpened.
But I just bought them.
Well,
Here, try this knife.
that still won't cut.
Let me try. This stuff is tougher than nylon. Why don't I try it over a Bunsen burner? It doesn't burn either. Let's take a look at it under the microscope.
Look, it's magnetic.
Magnetic?
Here, I'll...
Radioactive. And apparently indestructible.
Thank you.
What's the matter?
You tell me. Take a look at that weave.
What weave? There is none. This material is one solid mass.
May I see it? Why, you're right. It must be some sort of plastic.
No. I'd say it's a metallic substance of some kind.
Well, I've seen a lot of interesting alloys, but never anything like this. Let's try an acid test.
All right.
Go ahead. Careful now. We'll only take a drop or two. It repels acid like a raincoat repels water.
Why, there's no reaction.
Well, Major? This looks as though we were going to be here for a long time.
Reporters heard that the Air Force had found fragments of the mystery object crashed on a remote ranch northwest of Roswell. Excitement ran high until officials announced it was only a weather balloon. Major Jesse Marcel, in charge of the operation, now tells a far different story.
They took pictures, of course. They had a whole flock of microphones there. They wanted me they wanted some comments from me, but I wasn't at liberty to do that. So all I could do is keep my mouth shut. And General Ramey is the one who discussed, told the newspapers, the newsmen, what it was and to forget about it. It was nothing more than a weather observation balloon. Of course, which we both knew differently.
Marcel retraced his secret recovery operation across the hot New Mexico desert.
As you can see, it's flat. It is very difficult. In fact, with just verbal directions, we never would have found it. We had to follow the rancher out there.
The crash site was so remote, it took an entire day to drive there.
The following morning, we went out to the site where the crash was. And what I saw, I couldn't believe there was so much of it. It was scattered over such a vast area. So we proceeded to pick up as much of the debris as we could, loaded in a wagon. We filled that up. It took us a good part of the day to do that, because there were such small fragments that we had to do a lot of picking. We found a piece of metal about a 1.5 to 2 feet wide and about 2 or 3 feet long. Felt like you had nothing in your hands. It wasn't any thicker than the foil out of a pack of cigarettes. But the thing about that got me is that you couldn't even bend it, you couldn't bend it. Even with a sledgehammer would bounce off of it. So I knew that I had never seen anything like that before. It was not anything from this earth that I'm quite sure of, Because I was, being an intelligence officer, I was familiar with just about all materials used in aircraft and in our air travel. This is nothing like that. It could not be. It could not have been.